Is it going?
Yes. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Movie Crunch. And sorry about the hiatus. You'll get this episode after we've already put out the other two episodes that we lost because I lost the SD card that's on them. I'm sorry.
Sad day.
It was very sad. And
Sad
I'm
day.
so sorry that happened, but shit happens. Nobody's perfect.
We'll be even better the second time.
Yes. Yes, we shall be. But, and as always, for Movie Crunch, I'm Eric O'Donnell.
I'm Hannah Sutter. We're mixing up the flow
The
here.
roster.
Yeah.
I'm Nate Schaffner.
And today, we are doing one of the videos that we pulled out of the hat, of
Yes.
the purple hat.
We're doing Jenny Peterson's pick.
Yeah, because we picked it on the Goonies episode that you will hear later, that
Yeah.
you will hopefully
It's fine.
listen to before
it's
this.
fine, everybody.
Yeah, but we picked it there, and the movie is My Blue Heaven.
Yep.
Now, when you first picked it out of the hat, Nate, I almost said bag. I didn't know. I'd never heard of it. I'd never heard of it.
Me
Ever.
neither.
Me neither.
And then a quick IMDb search showed that Nora Ephron wrote it. I was instantly shamed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I know you and I don't know about you, Eric, but you and
I'm-
I have
Are-
the complete works of Nora Ephron on my
Huge-
bookshelf right
huge
now,
Nora
and
Ephron.
somehow I missed.
I am
Nora.
slowly becoming a Nora Ephron
Yeah.
fan. I am, thanks to the guys of you and guys
My
and
maniacal efforts are
and-
coming to fruition.
and this movie, because this movie was really well written, actually.
Yeah.
Like, we can start with that. Start with writing, because this movie stars Steve Martin and Rick Moranis, and also
Joan
Joan
Cusack.
Joan Cusack.
Yeah.
And all of them do a great job in this, but we can get to that later when we talk about acting. But the writing in this is just fun.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of. I mean, when we watched this, I stated that this movie came out the same year as Goodfellas, and you kind of feel that Steve Martin, the writing for Steve Martin's character is kind of spoofing Goodfellas.
But
Yeah.
it like hadn't happened yet, so
It's weird.
it's weird, right? Because it's the same year.
It was the same year.
But this movie came out
But I mean,
before.
The Godfather's been around forever. Like,
Well,
yeah.
like gangsters.
Yeah. And
Film noir has been
Yeah.
around forever.
he in this movie, Steve Martin plays this like Italian mobster guy.
Yeah.
And when you first watch this movie, you're like, bad casting.
Yeah, well, Steve Martin's accent is like so terribly not Italian except for certain words. Like he realized he could do certain words right,
Yeah.
but mostly he just sounds like Steve Martin.
But
Yeah.
I think that was the point. I,
I
think
think that
that
might
he
have been.
went
I got
out of,
over it eventually, and
Yeah, me
then
too.
I could appreciate it.
I-
It threw me off for a while.
I think he
Yeah.
went out of the way to make it sound bad on purpose, though.
It was
I don't know because it's a comedy.
yeah.
So maybe he
It
was
made sense, but it distracted me, is what I mean.
really.
Yeah.
For the first time. It
Once I got used to it, and I was like, all right,
Yeah.
he's going to talk like this the whole time.
Yeah.
I was distracted by the fact that I was watching a movie with Steve Martin and he didn't have gray hair.
That too.
he had gray hair.
It was dark brown.
Oh, it
light.
was.
I was distracted by the fact that all of his suits seemed to have shoulder pads, and he looked like that guy who sings, "Never gonna give you up."
He looked like Rick Astley.
Yeah.
He looked
He
like
looked
Rick
like Rick
Astley.
Astley, didn't
he
he?
looked a lot like Rick Astley now that
Yeah.
I think about it.
Yeah.
And wow. And
He totally
oh my god, I didn't realize that till just now. But the writing was really fun in this movie. It has a lot of comedic moments. You have to. It's one of those comedies that I like where you have to listen.
Yeah.
You
Or
do. It's quick banter.
It's very quick.
pithy.
Yeah.
And
And-
I like that the relationship between Steve Martin and what's his name?
Rick Moranis.
Rick Moranis.
Call him
How-
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids guy.
Yes, I was gonna say that, but I held it aside.
Yeah.
No, you know how he kind of goes from being a total nerd, and his character arc is to being like, a likable guy
Yeah.
Yeah.
who can have real relationships instead of
Yeah.
like somebody who's trying to be an undercover agent, and that's like his dream job.
Yeah, trying to do that. Also, everybody goes undercover because they do.
Because they can.
Because they can. Because they just appoint themselves to be undercover. That's like a common theme in this movie.
We
I'm
didn't.
undercover.
We didn't say what the plot is. I just
Oh
realized.
yeah. The plot really kind of is vague almost.
It's Rick Moranis plays hand me the case
like
is
a
over.
lawyer.
Wait, let me attempt. No, he plays an undercover FBI. Wait, no.
Yeah, Rick Moranis
Yes.
is.
Is it
I
FBI
think it's like, I think he's a lawyer.
Rick Moranis is working for the FBI.
Oh,
he's
that's
working,
right.
but he's
Yeah,
working
that's
like
right.
a desk job.
Yeah,
instead
he's
of
like
being
a
like
desk
an
job.
agent.
And Steve Martin is in the Witness Protection Program.
That's
And
right.
he's bringing in the other mob members to frame him so that he can go free.
That's right.
He's literally trying to keep him out of trouble for long enough
Yeah.
until they set the trap for the gangsters.
Yeah. 'Cause
So
he's
that he will be like, you know.
free. Yeah, like he's like, don't get into any trouble because this trial has to happen first.
If he gets arrested or anything,
Then
then he
everything's
doesn't
just-
look like he's a viable witness.
Yeah, or he can't appear in court because he's arrested.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, so it's kind of all that, and then you have this with I did almost
Joan
said,
Cusack?
I almost said Selma Hayek. I don't know why.
wish.
But Joan Cusack, you have this like conflict with her because she's like, what is
She's a cop.
She's a
Wait,
cop.
no.
No, I don't,
No,
she's not
she's
a cop.
she's the lawyer. She is.
She's
the lawyer.
the
There it
lawyer.
is.
She's the lawyer, and she's trying to catch Steve Martin's character,
Right.
Because
Vinny.
she's like, he's like committing countless crimes, and Rick Moranis is like, listen, this is the FBI
Way more important.
has got this under control.
We got this.
Cool it, Susie.
Yeah,
Right.
got it. And we also did, I think, in the beginning of this movie, very beginning of this movie, both Rick Moranis' character and Steve Martin's character, their wives both leave them.
Yeah.
Like, first 10 minutes,
Rick
they
Moranis'
both
wife,
are divorced.
Rick Moranis' wife leaves him for a ball player who's half her age.
Yeah, and they move out of this. She leaves this really nice house.
It's
That's
suburbia.
like-
It's definitely suburbia.
Yeah, but Rick Moranis' character's wife leaves this really nice house in front of an ocean, no less, to go to like this landlocked state. I think.
She's like, this is boring.
She's like,
Yeah.
oh, this water and waking up to an ocean is
you
boring.
do the same thing every Tuesday and Thursday. Blah,
He
blah.
has a system for pancakes.
Everyone has a system for pancakes.
Yeah, everyone
Do you
has
realize
a system
that?
for pancakes.
Sarah puts a little like puddle in the middle. She cuts out the middle, puts the syrup in the middle like a pool
Yeah,
of syrup.
everybody's got a system. I got a system for
I cut
waffles.
it into squares. Everyone has a system.
Everyone has a system for how they eat their breakfast. That's not like that's a fact.
That's
Yeah,
like a
it's not
human
like-
thing.
it's
If
not
you
like
don't
a-
have a system, then I don't want to be
Yeah.
even associated.
I have a system with my waffles. Like I go in a circle
We
and
all
make
have
sure
our
a lot of all the
quirks.
squares are filled up. That's your cooking lesson today. From Movie Crunch. But yeah, and
Next
then-
on movie.
next we could talk about actually really delve into the acting, which again we were talking how Steve Martin's accent as just make sure I get his character name right. Is Vinny. I was making sure I got that
How
right.
did we not remember his name is Vinny?
Well, it's
'Cause
been
remember,
like-
I was like, was
'Cause-
this before or after My Cousin Vinny? And you said it was before My Cousin Vinny, wasn't it? This was.
Yes.
Yeah.
This came out in '90. My Cousin Vinny
It's like,
came out
man,
in
this movie
92.
like did everything for My Cousin Vinny. They gave My Cousin Vinny
Yeah.
their character.
Yeah.
That's what this movie did. And again, his accent when he first comes on screen and you hear his accent and you're like, oh, Steve Martin as this gangster guy. It's weird. I don't like it. His accent. I don't even know what kind of accent that is.
You know what it was? I was disoriented because I thought he was undercover, because I didn't know anything, right? I thought he was
Oh, yeah.
undercover pretending to be Italian because his accent was so bad.
You
I
know
thought.
what? That's what I thought when I first.
So
saw
I was
it.
like, oh no, he really is a gangster.
Oh, he is.
And
doing
then
this.
once I locked into that, it was
he's
fine.
yeah.
But you know when you think about how it would look on the page, the
Yeah.
writing's excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
then-
really is.
And over time, as the movie goes on, the relationship between Rick Moranis and Steve Martin gets better and better.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
Rick Moranis starts like giving in to Steve Martin's weird nuggets of advice
Yeah.
for getting ladies and
Yeah.
like
Yep.
Oh yeah.
being
And
a cool guy. I kept waiting for Steve Martin to go, "We are two wild and
Crazy
crazy
guys."
guys."
I
was honestly waiting for
I
that. Too.
kept waiting. I thought it
I
was
was
gonna
honestly
happen.
waiting for
I
that.
love the character arc for Rick Moranis. I just watched A League of Their Own last night, and the character arc for Rick Moranis is a lot like the character arc of Tom Hanks in A League of Their Own, because Tom Hanks.
washed up to
Yeah,
getting your life together.
exactly.
It's a fairly like standard story arc, but it's all in the
It's all the way you do it.
yeah.
Steve Martin. I mean, it's ironic to say, but Steve Martin takes comedy very seriously.
He does, and I like that about him.
And
I take my comedy.
You know
very
that
seriously.
he wouldn't get involved with a project if he didn't think that he could bring something to it.
Yeah, that's very true. And I admire Steve Martin for that. I take my comedy very seriously.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know. It's weird to say that. Like I take comedy seriously.
Yeah.
But it's like you have to do the work for it to be funny.
Yeah.
When
have
you
to-
actually deliver it.
Yeah, you have to understand what's funny and what's not
Yeah,
funny.
I mean, you can successfully pretend to be serious, but you can't successfully pretend.
No, and you can
Comedy's hard to write.
Yeah.
It's hard to act.
As I can't remember who said this, but as someone famous that I can't remember who said it was, dying is easy, comedy is hard. And that's very true.
Just think about the fact that there haven't been that many good comedies in like the last 5 years.
That's
in the
very
box
true.
office.
That's very true. There haven't been a
Sadly.
lot of
I can't
good
even think
comedies.
of. I can't even think of 5. Like
22 Jump Street and
21. Well, I was gonna say I haven't seen 22.
22 Jump Street, 21 Jump Street, and
The
that's-
first Hangover. The
First
very
Hangover.
first.
I liked Heat. I liked the Heat.
Yes.
That was funny.
I liked Bridesmaids.
I loved
I haven't seen
Bridesmaids.
I liked Bridesmaids. And
But I will say it because you're gonna.
It's going to be on my Lady Parts.
I just love
There will be
Melissa
Bridesmaids
McCarthy.
on my Lady Parts. It's endlessly fun.
It's endlessly
It's
fun
endlessly-
to talk about it.
Uh,
And I just like Melissa McCarthy and anything she's in. I think she's
Oh
hilarious.
yeah,
Yeah.
I've been watching Gilmore Girls again, the entire show,
Yeah.
and I forgot that she is like amazing on
Yeah.
Gilmore Girls. She plays
Yeah.
a chef that is constantly getting injured.
That
Like-
sounds like her. 'Cause she's a very physical comedy.
She has a
Girl.
crew of people that like walk behind her and like stop things from burning her or falling over. her. It's excellent.
I do kind of want to see her new movie Tammy, but I don't know. I kind of want
I
to see
heard
it.
it's not great,
I heard it's good,
but
not great.
she is of course funny.
Yeah.
Like the
Well,
movie, the plot's not good.
She reminds
They're
me a
really
lot
good.
of Chris Farley. Or like in the
Yeah,
movie, she's
very
kind of
physical.
she's very
comedy.
physical comedy, and I love that. I like when women can do physical comedy. I think it's awesome because you always see men doing physical comedy. You never see a lot
That's
of
why I
women.
like Bridesmaids. I
Yeah.
mean, for God's sake, the best scene in that film is everyone like sharding their pants.
Yeah, and
I
Kristen
kid you
Wiig.
not.
And Kristen Wiig is just I love her in anything
Oh,
she
yeah.
does too. Kristen Wiig I think is one of the funniest women on the planet.
But we digress.
But we digress.
We're
um,
talking about acting.
Yes, we were.
Rick Moranis. This is like
This is the 1st
I've
time.
never seen Rick Moranis in a character like this.
No, I've
It's
not
probably the
in
most
what I'm used
complex
to.
role we've ever seen.
that
Yeah.
wasn't
For him.
Scientist.
a nerd,
Yeah.
or a scientist. Or,
Yeah, because
He is kind of a nerd, but it's just not anywhere near as exaggerated.
no,
Yeah.
because you see him in Ghostbusters, he's the nerd guy.
yeah.
You see him in Honey I Shrunk the Kids,
And
he's the
The
nerd
scientist.
scientist dad guy.
Yeah.
You see him in this,
just like
and he actually grows and actually is. You feel like he's a person, not a character.
yeah.
I feel like I can believe him more.
Yeah.
That's what I liked about the movie. This is the Nora Ephron touch. After you see some other movies of hers, you'll realize it's just like it's heartwarming without being soapy, without
Right.
being like,
Yeah, without being.
oh, I'm
Ugh.
overwhelmed by how sweet this is.
Yeah.
It's
You've
like,
got Mail and Sleepless in Seattle or two of the
I mean,
best.
there of course are moments, but it acknowledges them.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh
in
yeah,
it.
like that one, like the dance scene. Like that's a wholesome little scene between them two.
Yeah, so one of the best moments, and we'll talk about it later, is just when Steve Martin is trying to teach Rick Moranis to, be a little more suave.
Yeah.
And he doesn't so much teach him dance moves as he's just like, listen, you're coming on the dance floor with me,
And we're doing it.
and we're doing it, and what ensues, but like a 4-minute dance segment
Yeah,
that is so excellent.
It's so
I can watch it.
excellent.
I think I can watch it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm pretty sure Will Ferrell and the other guy from Night at the Roxbury saw that and were like,
Emulated that.
we're
yeah.
we're emulating that
Yeah.
because it looked a lot
it
like
looked
that.
like that. Yes,
it looked
it
a
did.
lot like that sketch. Like they
I
would
expected
do.
them to like sandwich a woman and start. yeah.
Yeah. Or go me him me him me
Me,
him
him,
him
me,
me him me him me him.
It was so like.
P.S. If you want to see the best interpretation of that skit, watch the one with Jim Carrey in it.
Yeah.
It is
Yes.
the
Yes.
I just
best.
watched that.
Yeah.
It is the
I
best.
just watched that.
Yeah.
The best skit in Saturday Night. One of my favorite skits in Saturday Night Live history. It's so funny, but I digress.
I mean, but that's the origin of Steve Martin.
yeah,
That's
Yeah.
what. Now, as much as his accent really bothered me, and it still bothered me for the entirety of the time, I'm not gonna lie.
I got used to it after a while.
I got used to it, but I was like, really? You don't even need it. Like, you
Yeah.
could. What was? Oh my god! I just remembered the scene where he sees a woman in the grocery store.
Oh yeah.
And what does he say to her?
You should be careful in the frozen food section.
Section. You'll melt.
You'll
all
melt
the-
You'll
everything.
melt all the.
You'll melt all the food.
Yeah, all the food.
And
She basically, you know what she reminded me of? She reminded me of olive oil. When she did that, made that noise.
Yeah.
She reminded me of and how she reacted.
Yeah.
Reminded me exactly of like an olive oil.
Yeah.
When like Popeye comes to save her or
That's
something.
so true.
It is.
And P.S. I love Popeye.
Who doesn't?
Grew up on the guy. I even like just a side note. I even love the movie with Robin Williams.
I've never seen.
I have never.
You've never seen the live action Popeye?
No.
I've seen Hook, and that's all that.
We're
matters.
watching it. Okay. Sometime down the road, Movie Crunch will be doing Popeye. It's gonna be great. I love Popeye.
If you want that to be your movie of choice, I mean.
It is a musical.
Oh God.
Yep.
Wait a second, I have seen it.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. You know you're
I
talking.
think I've locked it out.
I am what I am, and that's all that I am. It's great. It was my childhood. But I digress. Again, that's the 5th time I've digressed. But now we can talk about.
Digressor.
Yeah. Now we can talk about our.
Favorite scenes?
Or no, our
Wait.
directing in it. Directing and writing. We talked about directing. We can talk about directing.
Herbert Ross.
Herbert Ross directed.
What
this.
was the movie that when we were watching it, I told you that he directed the movie, and you said that movie is amazing, Hannah. It was a movie.
Crap.
IMDb it.
Do it.
Or can you?
I can't. Later.
Woman, where is my super suit?
Well, nah.
Anyway.
Come back to it.
Crap.
This is how prepared we are.
Yeah, really. Herbert Ross
Oh man, I can't remember.
brought kind of like genuine feel
Yeah, to this movie.
to this movie.
It felt
Yeah,
genuine.
it could have been like it was weird because it was over the top in a lot of ways,
Oh,
just
yeah.
in like
Yeah.
like a comedy
Situations.
kind of way, the situational comedy.
Situation
Yeah.
comedy.
But it wasn't like so ridiculous that you're like,
Ugh.
this is okay.
It was.
Okay, you're a
this
gangster.
movie.
It wasn't Batman and Robin.
Spoilers. But yeah, it was very like not over the top, and it was somewhat believable.
Yeah.
You know,
It was
like,
believable enough.
It was believable enough, and it was great to see these characters like grow in the way, and it's shot really
Especially-
well.
Yeah, and like the relationship between Rick Moranis and John Cusack
Yeah.
was really taken. Like they're at odds with each other, but they don't want to be.
Yeah, it's there, and again, that relationship was really brought well, especially the scene where where you see Rick Moranis do something so out of character that I've never seen him do.
Yeah.
Beat the crap
Out of
out of Joan Cusack's ex-husband.
Literally
Daniel
kicked him to the
Stern.
curb.
Literally kicks him to the curb.
Daniel
Like
Stern.
I
And you
was
see
so
him
proud
wearing,
of him.
You see him wearing
Yeah.
the white
the white
shirt
Yeah,
with a little cut off at the top, so you can see just a puff of chest hair.
yeah. He
You're
looked
like, this is my house, so there's almost like that. Like
Yeah, my house.
this is her house,
But
and
it's not.
You're not in.
you will knock.
Yeah, it was
exactly.
awesome. It's like, whoa, Rick Moranis. I've never seen him ever do that.
I just
It's
wanted to get
awesome.
up and clap.
Yeah,
That's
It's
what I
almost-
knew I was invested in.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
almost like, oh my god, go you.
Yeah.
Look at you being a
Look at you
man.
being awesome. Look at you not, being the key master.
Well, well, yeah, I really liked his character arc, and I liked how lovable Steve Martin ended up being. Like,
Yeah,
he became
He's
like
a
the
lovable
town's.
jerk.
Yeah,
He's just a nice.
He's the jerk,
He's
yeah.
an all-around nice guy.
yeah. Just
he's
does
just
it in weird
stupid.
ways.
Yeah.
Like,
And-
honestly, he's kind of stupid.
Like in
Yeah.
the
his schemes
scene,
are not well advised.
in
Yeah.
the scene where he meets all of his mob buddies.
That's funny.
It was funny, and it's because it's like everybody else, except for Steve Martin, looks
Like a mob.
like a
boss.
mob.
He looks like the narc.
Steve Martin looks. Yeah, exactly.
He looks like the narc.
Steve
like,
Martin looks like.
it's like, I'm not a cop. What are you talking about? I'm not a cop. I'm a gangster like you guys.
Let's eat some spaghetti.
Is that what you do? Why don't we
like
eat
a
some?
nice big ziti.
Why don't we eat spaghetti and
What
talk
kind-
about mob planes
What
like
kind of
we do?
what kind of Italian food?
Mama.
What kind of Italian food you got? They got macaroni and cheese, and then you see him just like,
Ugh.
Yeah.
really?
I know. I like the scene with his mama. That was cool.
When they have to go back to, was it New York?
Yeah.
For a trial. And that's when they kind of bond. That's like the writing moment where it's like,
Yeah. Now
they're
it's up to
outside
character
of the
Yeah.
main
legal system.
setting.
Yeah.
And that's when the dance scene happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, which we can talk about our
Which
favorite
is your
scenes
favorite
now.
scene?
Which is my favorite scene because I just think it's so genuine and
It's-
funny. And
It's hilarious.
it's just fun to see that. You can tell they had a lot of fun with that scene.
Oh yeah.
Well,
And
yeah, I don't think that there's a scene that tops it. I can't think.
I remember it. It reminded me of Steve Martin doing his King Tut thing on Saturday Night Live. He did this big King Tut
Yeah.
song, and it was great. And it reminded me a lot of that. I'm gonna do. Every time I think of Steve Martin, I can't help but think of Saturday Night Live because
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's his home base.
yeah, and because like my parents kind of. The reason I take comedy so seriously is like that was my first foray into films.
Right.
Jim Carrey, Saturday Night Live,
Yeah.
Chris Farley were like all my first like big guys that I looked up to when I was a kid, and I saw these movies, and that's why I take comedy so seriously,
John,
which is because of
John
Saturday Night
Lovitz, who
Live.
was in A League of Their Own, said that Saturday Night Live gave him a comedy career, but A League of Their Own gave him a movie career.
Yeah,
Mhm.
You know.
yeah, and
It's different.
yeah, it's different.
Trying
I mean,
to segue into film.
yeah, it's real different, especially if you're used to putting on like an hour and a half show every Saturday.
Yeah.
Though to be fair, Saturday Night Live it's not been the best
No,
it has been.
not in the past
Not in the
5,
past.
10,
I
12,
mean,
20.
Andy Samberg, you're doing a really good job. You and Lonely Island, you guys are doing a really good job, in my opinion.
Kristen Wiig
Kristen
did
Wiig's
well.
doing a phenomenal
Tina
job.
Fey was hilarious.
Tina Fey.
Amy Poehler.
Tina Fey to me is the funniest one.
Tina Fey, Amy Poehler, and Maya Rudolph are going to be in a movie together. I'm
Yeah.
just throwing that
They
out
gotta
there.
be. They gotta
No,
be.
they are. It's in the works.
Oh, they
Is
are
it?
good.
Yes.
They have to
So.
be, because that's, oh God, it's so funny. Especially
I'm
Weekend
going to
Update.
freak out.
Weekend Update with Amy Poehler and Tina Fey was the best.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
It was.
that was, Weekend Update was the only reason I watched Night Live now, is because of Weekend Update, because honestly, that's my favorite jokes. And I think one of my favorite recent ones was they recently passed a law that'll prohibit airline pilots from texting during flying a plane. And other terrifying news, they haven't already been doing that. But that, oh man, it is going to do it for.
Well, we have to talk about our favorite scenes.
Oh yes, I'm
Because
sorry. I
you
thought
keep
you guys
digressing.
said. I thought you
Well,
guys said.
that really was my favorite scene because my favorite part of the dancing scene was that Steve Martin would like challenge Rick Moranis
Oh, yeah.
with one move, and then he would do it
yeah.
back.
like a big complex game of horse.
Yes.
And Rick
Yeah.
Moranis was kind of awkwardly doing it.
Yeah, like I can do that.
And then the gangsters break up the fun.
oh
But
yeah,
they're
with
trying
their-
to kill Steve Martin.
Yeah, oh that's a plot. I think they're trying to kill.
But-
Hitman are trying to kill him.
If I have to choose another scene, I do love the ending. So we can talk about that when the ending happens.
Yeah.
I also love that Rick Moranis has a dancing scene by himself with Joan
Yes,
Cusack.
that was nice.
That was
which is
good.
like a
That was
callback.
nice.
That was good.
That
I
was
like that.
nice.
My favorite scene is the where Steve Martin is doing his own fingerprints.
Oh yeah, and he
And-
goes through the
And
motion.
he goes through the motions of
Ah.
doing his picture
That
taking.
was funny.
It's like, I've done this before. Leave me alone.
I've done this 1,000 times.
And
I
then
got
he's
this.
talking while he's doing his mugshot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't mean to. I mean, it's gonna be like that. It's
And he's always like he has good intent, or like almost like he doesn't think of what the crimes that he's committing is even a big deal.
yeah,
Yeah.
like
He's
oh,
like, what? It's just a dolly
this
here,
is
there.
this thing. It's this thing. But that brings us to the ending,
The ending.
which the ending is, you know, it's they're in court and he almost gets shot.
Yeah.
The hitmen come in and they almost shoot him.
Yeah.
And before this, they actually him and his mob buddies got like this big truck of just jars
Yeah.
of like
filled it
water
with-
cooler
and
jars.
Of all the merchandise that they could have been smuggling and selling, they got those big like water jugs.
Yeah, the water
And they filled
jugs.
it with money.
Yeah, because he got the idea. Because what you think is first Steve Martin got the idea to be like, I can raise money
Yeah.
for a football field for the little league
Yeah.
of the town,
Baseball
Baseball field.
baseball field for
Yeah.
the little league.
Yeah.
Well,
And-
because Joan Cusack's two sons are baseball players.
Little leaguers.
And of course they love him, by the way. Like throughout the movie,
Yeah,
he's
they're like
taking them to games.
Yeah.
and telling them
yeah.
how to avoid getting their pockets picked.
Yeah. Like, see, you didn't even feel that. See, yeah, put that back. I love it. He's like that weird
And
uncle.
then at the end, you see the baseball field being
Yeah.
constructed. And did anybody notice that the name of the baseball team was the Turtles?
Yeah,
Yeah.
which
Oh yeah.
in the
'cause there's
beginning,
that.
Joan Cusack accidentally killed her son's turtle,
Yeah.
which
Gar-
was Steve Martin's way of blackmailing her into not turning him in.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
Be
that.
like, wouldn't want your kid to know about the
Your
turtle.
You'll have to forgive us, folks. It's been like a week since we watched.
Yeah,
this
I've
movie.
I've half expected it to be like, you wouldn't want a turtle shell ending up in your bed now, in your son's bed, right? Like the Godfather scene with the horse.
Sleeping with the fishes.
Yeah, sleeping with the turtles instead of sleeping with the turtles, and then you're just like Raphael, like, what's going on? Like, that's a bad joke. But that is gonna do it for another episode of Movie Crunch by Blue Heaven. Oh, by the way, I didn't understand the title until Nate told me the title's meaning. Nate, could
That's
you
a
elaborate?
song, right?
My Blue Heaven. I mean, this is
That's how he interpreted,
this
which
may-
I like.
This may just be the way I interpret it, but my Blue Heaven to me means like when you think of the phrase, I feel blue. It means like you're depressed. You're down, and at the very beginning of the movie, both their wives leave them, so they're blue. But the heaven refers to, Rick Moranis' character being, as you said, Hannah, kind of washed up and then finding a new purpose in his life. So it's kind of, that's the way I.
I like that. I don't know.
I think it's a song too.
Is it a song?
I think it's an old song. Maybe that has. I don't know the lyrics of it, but I'm fairly sure
We'd
that's
have
a
to
song.
look that up.
I have to look it up. Well, this is where we start plugging our stuff. I'll plug Mild Mannered Geek, which should have episodes every 2 weeks from now on. But it should have regular episodes up to 53 subscribers as of this episode.
Nice.
Go you.
And so it should have regular episodes soon. And the episodes to look forward to are How Much Does It Cost to Be Batman? Aquaman is a Badass. An episode all about the Fantastic Four. And a one I just recorded today, July 9th, proving Doctor Who is a superhero.
I'd like to watch that.
I dig that.
So check that out when they're up. And Hannah, would you like to plug yours?
Plug your
Would
lady
I like
parts.
to plug my lady
You
parts?
wanna plug your lady parts?
Yes. Well, okay. So as you know, my computer is a piece of crap.
Yeah.
So I can't really edit and or load things on
That
it.
sucks.
So I've been waiting till I have access back to our school
Yeah.
computers so I can do that. So that's happening next week, guys. We're starting school next week.
I know.
Yay!
The
So,
day before my
I-
30th birthday.
Yes. So I'm going to be doing, I believe, Thelma and Louise next because I can't wait any longer. It's so good.
I will see anything that Ridley Scott has directed. So
Yeah, we're seeing
Boom.
God. We're seeing Exodus, Gods and Kings because of Ridley Scott.
yes.
Well, that's something. Go ahead, Nate.
I have a blog up. You can find it on Blogger. It's called Movie Crunches. I just recently, I'm close to 100 views. So thank you everybody so much for reading those. But if you aren't a podcast type of person, you can read about the movies that we do on my blog. And I would just like to give a real quick shout out because I have a friend, Brett Balzer in Missouri, who listens to every single one of these. Thank you so
Thanks
much.
so much, Brett.
Thank you
dude.
so much, dude.
We love you.
You are awesome.
You're the
the
best.
best.
You are the best.
Did you guys know that our Animal House, have you guys looked at that?
No, I haven't. How
Our
much?
Animal House podcast has over 150 views.
Yay!
Oh my God!
It is awesome.
That's awesome. I didn't know
I
that.
didn't even know 150 people knew us.
No, I didn't even know 100 people. 150
Thank
people
you,
cared.
guys.
Thank you, people who watch our stuff. And, I mean, not watch, listen. Thank you, people who listen.
Spoilers.
Yeah, who listen to it. Thank you so much. And we gotta pick.
No, we're doing
No.
that. We're doing that next time.
Oh, we're doing. Oh, yeah. Never mind.
We're
Forget
doing
what I said. I said I gotta pick up a thing. But as for Movie Crunch, thanks for listening, guys. For Movie Crunch, I'm Eric McDonald.
I'm Hannah Sutter.
And I'm Nate Schaffner.
And we will see you, as always, at the movies.